Okay, guys, welcome to our second session of our Wednesday webinar series. We're so excited that you've joined us. Next slide, please. So first, I just want to acknowledge our sponsor, the Rural Maryland Council, and in particular, the Rural Maryland Prosperity Fund is our funder for this series. And again, we are thankful for their generous grant opportunity for us to be able to put this on. Next slide. Just wanted to share a little bit about our mission and vision. Here at the Eastern Shore Area Health Education Center, we provide educational resources and support through equitable community-based activities and services. And we are hoping to recruit, retain, and train healthcare professionals on the Eastern Shore by the way of collaborative and innovative partnerships. And today is an example of our collaborative and innovative partnerships with our guest speakers. We do envision service and provider expansion covering Maryland's Eastern Shore while promoting healthy communities and a well-trained healthcare workforce in underserved areas. So, okay. So just some general notes on how we're going to kind of go through this series or this session. We're going to have a presentation by our guest speakers, and we'll end with a question and answer session. We do ask that everyone remain muted unless you are asking a question. We would love to see your beautiful faces. So if you could turn on your video, that would be great. We do have a chat feature. You can see at the bottom the little text box if you have questions that you want to put in the chat or a comment. We are recording this session for later viewing. We are building a platform so we're able to share these out at a later date. So as soon as we have that, we will share that with you as well. We are going to be using polling during this session to assess pre and post knowledge, and everything is anonymous. There are no names attached to the answers. We are going to do some raffle prizes at the end of the session today, and you must be present to win. Okay, so today we have multicolored cutting boards that we are going to be sending your way via Amazon if you're the winner. A nice salad spinner from Amazon that we'll send your way. And then there's a scholarship or gift certificate for a free canning workshop with Lynn, one of our speakers. Okay, so let me go ahead and launch our poll. So what's going to happen is something's going to pop up on your screen, and I just need you to answer the two questions that are there. Again, it's anonymous. So go ahead and answer those questions, please. Can you guys see that? Okay.
I cannot.
You cannot?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Heather. Just going to give another minute to see if we have any other responses. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll. So it looks like our poll says our results are: how often do you currently prepare healthy meals at home? 33% said 1 to 2 times a week. 50% said 3 to 4 times a week. And then 5 or more times a week, 17%. So if we go to the question number 2, select any and all barriers that you experience when preparing healthy meals. Time. Yes, we all struggle with time. Money, don't know. You don't have any ideas. So we're hoping that today we'll be able to share some ideas and also some money saving tips for you. So I'm going to stop sharing that. Thank you for your participation in that. Okay. So Next, I'm going to introduce our two speakers for the day. Lynn Matava, and Lynn, I apologize, am I saying that right?
It's Matava, but that's close enough. Thank you.
Okay, Matava. She's a family and consumer science educator with the University of Maryland Extension. She focuses on nutrition, health, and wellness there. She holds an MS in health sciences with a focus on global health from the University of Maryland, Baltimore, and has worked in community health programming for more than 20 years in the areas of health education, healthy food preparation, health technology literacy, and overall health and well-being. So thank you, Lynn, for being here. And our second guest speaker is Amanda Kidd, who resides in Cambridge, Maryland, with her husband and 5 children. So I'm thinking she doesn't have a lot of time either. Amanda has served in various capacities in the local food industry. One second. She was the Eastern Shore coordinator and manager of Movable Feast. And then she started up her own food logistics company, Beat the Rush Delivery. She's been a resource and assisted with helping others gain access to healthy foods. Currently, she is the founder of her nonprofit, 411 Kitchen, the Foodpreneur Hub. And Amanda has one mission, and that's to feed the people, to feed both their minds and bellies. So thank you both for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them as they share their knowledge with you.
Great. Thank you for having us. Good afternoon, everyone. We're really excited to be here with you today to talk about ways that we can, maximize our food dollars and make our food dollars go further. And I did want to just remind everyone that if you have questions throughout, don't hesitate to put them in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll answer them when we can, or at the Q&A at the end. Next slide, please. So I work for the University of Maryland, and so I'm obligated to share with you that our programs are open for all. Next slide, please. And we are federally funded, so as a federally assisted program, we are obligated to let you know that we do not discriminate for any reason. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're going to just get into it. And Amanda, I know this is a topic you spend a lot of time thinking about, as do I. What are some of your favorite tips for helping people save money while eating healthy?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest tips is to shop local. A lot of times we don't know, just, one, for lack of exposure, but shopping local sometimes, most of the time, it can actually be less expensive than shopping commercial brands, because you can be assured that your local farmer is not inflating their costs. Their overhead sometimes is a lot smaller than the larger commercial brands. And then it's healthier. They are taking, best practices and being able to know what's going into your food. And then also looking for sales when you are shopping your local grocer. Looking for, bulk sales. A lot of times they will mark down the price. And Lynn and I, we both talked about our experiences at the farmers markets. If you go to the farmers market later in the day, closer to closing, the farmer and the producers would typically have a great sale because they don't want to take their produce home. They want it to be in the community. They want it to go out. That's the purpose of them growing it. So, those are some of the tips, and also looking at your digital coupon options. There are a lot of manufacturers that put out digital coupons. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of great tips there. And I agree with so many of those, especially with all the farm stands we have in the area. There's so many little places where you can just kind of stop along the side of the road and get pretty low cost produce. And a lot of the farmers themselves have stands on their farms. So those are all great tips. And also just, so people know, you can also use your SNAP benefits if you have them, not just for at the grocery store, but you can use those for vegetable and fruit plants to grow your own. So that's another great way that I like to share with people that they can save money.
Yes, that is awesome.
So all great tips here. So shopping the perimeter of the store is another great thing that we can do. So, one of the reasons why that helps us save money is because we're looking at the outer ring of the store where all the fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh meats and less processed food, more whole foods are. And it's going to be less of the convenience foods. Actually, can you go back one slide to the that snap slide? Yeah, there you go. And so you're going to be able to find lots of things in the store to use, or lots of things in that outer loop. And then when we go into the center aisles, we're going to look for things like our whole unrefined grains, dried beans, canned beans, even pasta, things that we can combine into healthy meals. And I did want to point out here, we have a little flyer here from Maryland Market Money. And this is just a flyer that they have online, which you can get to the full flyer by the first QR code at the top. And that'll give you a list of SNAP accepting markets, food markets in the area. And then the bottom QR code, if anybody's interested in that, is to Maryland's Best. You can also get to it just by typing in marylandsbest.com or Googling Maryland's Best, and you should be able to get to it. And that's going to give you so many different resources, from where to source fruits and vegetables to where to find seafood in your area. And then they have all other resources on there as well. So these are just other ways you can go to kind of find what's out there and how you can use your food dollars and your SNAP dollars for making your food go farther. Next slide, please. So Amanda, I know we had talked some about some food storage tips. Did you have anything specifically that you like to share with folks?
Yeah, so one of the things that I like to do early on, as you heard that I'm a mom of 5, and my kids are stair-stepped in a sense, so everything was like boom, back to back, back to back. So grocery shopping and being able to execute, when you use your produce, how often you use it, how to store it is, something that I came across early on. And so I'm not sure, Lynn, if you have the slide, but it's in the resources that we put here for today. But there are methods that you can go onto a site called Still Tasty, and it will allow you to plug in what your item is. So if your item is, let's just say, lettuce, right? And you want to know what's the best way to preserve your lettuce, then it will tell you, the shelf life and how to preserve it. So that is a resource that, it was like a no-brainer for me. I didn't have to go flip through hundreds of pages of a book to, go find, even though I love turning pages of a book, but at that time, it just wasn't, feasible for me. So making sure that, I could have something easily to assess, everything from, how to properly store in storage containers, the difference between the plastic and fiberglass and the regular glass storage containers. What is the proper way to put them, can you put glass in the freezer? No. Can you, so understanding, what methods that you're using and what items that you are storing, Still Tasty really helps to navigate that.
That's great. Yeah, and certain foods are going to last longer. I love that you pointed out about produce and buying what you can eat. I always joke with people that the crisper drawer in the fridge is where good intentions often go to die. I think we buy lots of fruits and vegetables and cram that drawer full, and then they tend to go bad in there. For not just me, it happens at my house too, but for lots of people. So buying what we know we can use in the next few days is good. And then some of these things that you see in the photos here, like the grains and the legumes and the pasta, they're going to have a much longer shelf life. And you're going to save a lot of money by buying things like your dried beans here. but they also take a little bit more time in planning. So you would have to either soak them in the morning or the night before if you want to cook them in the morning, but they need a few hours to soak typically, or you need to know you have about 2.5 hours to cook most beans from dry without soaking. So canned beans are also a great option. They do cost a little bit more, but they're ready to go. And if you rinse off the salt, you can make them a little healthier too that way. So just all great options and just things to keep in mind when you're buying food. How long am I going to use this, or how long until I'm going to be able to use this? And I like to think of that also in terms of sales. If there's going to be a sale on, canned goods, for example, am I going to be able to use all of this up before it goes bad? It's great if you can buy in bulk. Bulk purchasing is wonderful if you're going to use it all. But sometimes if you buy larger cans of something or larger containers and you can't use them until before they go bad, then it might not be the best savings for you. So those are all things that you're going to look at with your own budget. So thank you. All right, next slide, please. All right. So now we're going to share some different, these are all from Snap Ed, and these are some of their 5 ways sheets. And they're just some great ideas for things that you can do when you have these cans around and you're just looking, or other packaged foods around, and you're looking for ways to throw meals together. We reached out to Meals Till Monday. So if anybody ever utilizes them or any of the other food distribution centers in the area, one of the things that they shared with us is that they usually send home, in terms of protein, either a canned fish or chicken, a peanut butter, or I forgot the third thing they told me. Maybe you remember that, Amanda. But they did say that there are lots of shelf-stable foods that go home, and so there's ways to use this food to kind of supplement the fresh stuff or the dried food that you have and make it go a little further. So with the tomatoes here, you can do all of this stuff with fresh tomatoes as well if you get a big basket of them from someone or you grow them in your garden. But if you have them canned, you can certainly quickly make a homemade pasta sauce just by, you're going to chop up the whole tomatoes, or if you have crushed tomatoes, you can just cook those up and add seasonings to taste. And in about 10 minutes, you'll have them ready on the stove. You could make a meatloaf and use the tomatoes for that. So crushed tomatoes are a great use for meatloaf. I think a lot of times the old-fashioned recipes used to use ketchup, but ketchup's got a lot of extra stuff in it, like sugar, that we might be trying to watch, and sodium. So by using these canned tomatoes, we can cut that down, and then we control what we put into the food that we're making. You can also use these for making a vegetable or minestrone or any kind of tomato soup. I like just making tomato soup with canned tomatoes, and it's such an easy thing to do. I just puree them and add in some broth, and it makes a delicious soup, and it's such a great thing to make on a quick weeknight or when you don't have a lot of time. And then, of course, you can add them to all of your casserole recipes or make a homemade salsa. Next slide, please.
Yeah, so Lynn, these are the 5 ways for the pumpkin and canned pumpkin specifically. So one of the things that I've done with the canned pumpkins, and you can see on here, are pancakes. And you would never think that, pumpkin pancakes would be something really good, but the moisture from the puree actually gives it such a really nice moist texture. So that's, it adds, and I'm such a foodie. So when I talk, I don't just talk in the spectrum of maximizing our dollars, but I talk about the sophistication of the food and ways that, to enhance your food without having to go out and spend the big dollars. So you're getting really good quality of food that you typically would go out and, say like, how did they get this so good? And how did they do this so well? You can actually accomplish that right at home. And it just, little things like adding fresh and whole foods, to your ingredients. So pumpkin puree is a great way. We have soups, we have pastas, and oatmeal. And one of the things that Lynn can speak more to is the vitamin nutrients that is in the pumpkin. that you're adding more vitamin and minerals back into your diet. So Len, can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely. So we have all that bright orange color, and anytime we have bright orange color in a fruit or vegetable, it's a pretty good sign that it's loaded with vitamin A. We think of that often with carrots, and then what do we think of, right? Carrots are good for our eyes. And that's one of my favorite things to share with people is that if you don't love carrots or they just aren't your favorite food, you don't have to eat just carrots. You can eat a variety of orange fruits and vegetables, and you'll be getting the benefits of that vitamin A and retinol. And that's one of the antioxidants that are in the carrots, which is pretty cool, or the pumpkin in this case. So yeah, and it's also going to add a lot of fiber. So you're going to get extra fiber in your pancakes, and fiber is the stuff that makes our digestive system happy and helps us stay fuller longer. And it's also good for our heart health. So all really great things to consider when we're adding these foods in. We're fortifying them with more nutrients.
Awesome.
All right, so next slide, please. Okay, so this one is peanut butter. And I think a lot of times it becomes very easy for us to see, oh, peanut butter, it's an easy thing to throw together as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter on toast. But just to, keep in mind that it can be very versatile. You can obviously stir it into your oatmeal. I love it in smoothies. You can use peanut butter the same way you would use oil in a recipe with pretty decent results. So if you're making muffins, you could always take out some of the oil or all of the oil and replace it with peanut butter. And it's going to add that moisture back in and a healthy fat, a little bit more of a healthy fat than say just regular old vegetable oil. And plus it's going to have that peanut butter flavor. So I'm thinking if you did like chocolate peanut butter muffins or something, you could make them pretty healthy this way. And that would be really delicious. Pancakes, you could do the same thing with pancakes that you would with the muffins to add some of those in there, or you could even try just using them on top as a flavoring. I know when my kids were little, they liked things like that with a couple chocolate chips. They would not have complained if they got that for a meal. And then lastly, I'm going to show you in a few minutes how you can use peanut butter to make dipping or stir fry sauces, or even use it for sort of an Asian pasta. And I do see there is a question if it's a 1-to-1 for an oil or peanut butter substitution. If you're baking, it's not going to be exact because there are some other solids in peanut butter, but you should have pretty good results with it because it is so very high in fat. So thank you for that question. But you could play around with it a little. You might want to only substitute part of the oil if you think it looks like it's going to be too thick. But yeah, I've done it before with muffins and they might have been a little bit more dense, but they were delicious. So thanks for asking that. All right. And next on to you, Amanda.
Yeah, so canned chicken 5 ways. Soups are definitely a staple, as you can see. It's a common theme. And I really like soups, and most people don't really think soup is an all year round thing, but I tell people, what is your go-to when you get sick, right? You typically go to soup. And do you only get sick one time a year? No, you get sick multiple times a year, all different climates, all different seasons. So soup is a staple that, we can really benefit from. Our digestive systems can benefit from them as well. And because it's a lot easier to digest and process. And adding loads of vegetables to it is definitely going to enhance that benefit. So you're really putting yourself and your family at a win-win situation with soups. Lettuce wraps, and I'll actually demonstrate those today. But lettuce wraps is, a great way to enhance your canned chicken. You can create different stuffing options, mixtures. Really, it's your world. So, whatever your favorite, combination of vegetables are with your canned chicken, your seasoning blends, put that together and you can eat it cold or hot. So it's really up to you, and obviously not hot lettuce, but hot mixture. And then salads, which is pretty much the same concept as the wraps. So those two I like to talk about those hand in hand. And then you have burritos and pastas. And definitely, the canned chicken holds a lot of moisture. There's a lot of water in it. So I recommend, draining it, rinsing it, and then, seasoning it to your liking, and then prepare it how, you see fit, whether it is cold or hot. So I see Lynn is getting set up to start her demonstration. So Lynn, I'll turn it back to you.
Great, thank you, Amanda. And I just want to say, I love that you said it's your world, because I really do feel that, if things are not fun, we won't do them, right? If we don't enjoy them, if they aren't delicious. So I think that's one of the things that gets us when we're trying to find ways to eat healthier and to make, lifestyle changes, is that it's so tempting just to go, I'm just going to go through the drive-through and buy food, or I'm going to go buy that thing that I like from the store that's already made. But I do think that there's ways to really get excited about making food at home and finding a little bit of time to do that. I think that this peanut butter recipe I'm going to show you is pretty cool, and it's not a real recipe. Basically, it's just something that I'm going to do to taste, which is kind of part of that whole food experimentation thing. Just adding what you like and seeing what what your family will enjoy. And if you try something once and don't like it, no big deal. So today I just have just a little bit of peanut butter in this dish. If you can see what I got here, it's probably about,
Lynn, can you stop for 1 second? I just want to make sure that you're spotlighted. Can everyone see her? Okay, great. Okay, great. I think we had to stop sharing for the spotlight to work. So we're good now. Thank you. I'm so sorry for the interruption.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad everybody can see. So you can see this is like maybe about 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. It's not a ton. And all I'm going to do is add in a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of vinegar. And I'm using a rice vinegar here today, but you could use whatever you have on hand. I'm a big advocate of saying that, you don't have to go crazy sometimes with specialty ingredients. If what you have on hand is the canned version of tomatoes versus fresh, like that's what's going to get the meal on the table sooner. And next time you make it, you'll go, this will be better if I use fresh, maybe. But so we have, I've got some soy sauce here, and this is a low sodium soy sauce, and I'm just going to thin that out. So I'm putting about half as much water as soy sauce because I don't want it to be super, super salty in here. But that's also something you could do to taste. And I am just pouring that into my peanut butter, and I'm saying maybe about a tablespoon there. And I'm going to start to I'm just using a fork here. Again, don't need fancy kitchen equipment all the time. Sometimes we all have forks. Sometimes that's all we need. And then I'm going to use, as I said, some of this vinegar, which I did not open this beforehand. Apologies. Didn't realize it was brand new. Okay. Just another maybe teaspoon. Just that acid is going to be really nice in the vinegar. It's going to kind of give it a little tanginess. And see, this is still pretty thick, but I really don't want to add too much of this soy mixture. So if I get this, I've added a little bit more and I think it's too thick, what you can do to make this into more of a dipping sauce is just add a little oil, and I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil in there, and then it's going to be more of a sauce and less of a clump there. And that's really it. That is the whole recipe. And then I've got a plate of vegetables here. I've got carrots and broccoli and apples, and this would make a lovely dip for them. You could also use this to dip in chicken on skewers or even chicken nuggets. Tofu would be great in this, or you could take this mixture and mix it with something like some noodles or whole wheat or buckwheat, or even just plain old noodles or Asian noodles, and it's going to make kind of an Asian inspired dish that you can then top with whatever vegetables and protein you'd like. So I hope you guys try this out and enjoy it.
Okay, Amanda, I have you on spotlight now, so I think you're ready to go with your demo.
Awesome. And Lynn, I just wanted to say that that was a definitely one of those quick and easy meals and snack options. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try, especially when I'm in between meetings and on the go, just having something to be able to dip and have a plate of veggies and fruits there that I can just enjoy while I'm actually, working. So that is really cool. So what we're gonna do now is the canned chicken with the lettuce wraps. And so I have prepared here a couple of different components of it, but like I said, it's your world, so you can create and build your lettuce wraps how you see fit. One of the key important things is making sure that you wash your veggies. So all of the veggies that I've selected for this have been washed already, as you can see here. And so I have some lettuce and some peppers. And I didn't have them pre-cut because I kind of wanted you to see the peppers that I selected. So these are really good, especially like for Lynn's mixture that she did there with her peanut butter. These are really good for dipping and for snacking options. So I like to get these peppers because a lot come in a bag, as you can see. And the sorry, had to be Spider-Man for a moment. It's so many, so you get to use them in your meal and get to use them for snacking options. So I love having these on hand, and my kids, they will just, you know, grab them out the bag and just start eating them, washing. So, and what I love about this bag too, you can actually wash your veggies in this bag. There are holes already in it, so you can have them washed and they can then go back into your refrigerator or, you know, where you store them. Sometimes mine don't last but a couple of days because they just go through them. So that's a good tip for you to keep in mind.
Hey, Amanda,
So
I'd like to
just-
share with you too that they're full of vitamin C.
Yes, yes, they are. And so my lettuce has already been washed and I've already spun it to remove the excess. And you can just take a paper towel and, you know, begin to soak up that remaining moisture as well. But it's really, again, your world. And everything that I have here has already been seasoned. I just season very generously with garlic, paprika, cumin, and a little bit of sea salt. And so obviously the canned chicken comes in, you know, the assortments of different brands, but it's packed with water. They do have you know, other preservatives in there, like the sodium that Lynn was talking about. So I rinse mine very thoroughly before adding any additional seasonings. And so, yeah. And this is what it came out like. So it definitely has, you know, a very good, and I don't know if you can see that there, very good texture, you know, the integrity. So it's really no different than if you take and shred the chicken breast after preparing it. So what I'm gonna do is take and start to build. And depending on the type of lettuce, I have romaine lettuce here. There, you know, are other different types of lettuce that is available. But I typically like romaine or the butterbib lettuce because of it. It has a more greener index, leafy greener index, and I really like the leafy greens. And so then I'm gonna top it with some black beans. And one of the things that my kids really like to do, they like to top theirs with like corn and salsa and all those different, you know, fixings. So you can make it a taco style. You can do the chicken salad style, you know, whichever, you know, floats your boat. And then top it with some of my peppers that I have sliced here. You can do onions as well. And you can do rice. I do have some rice here. So this is a really cool trick that I wanted to show you all. I love cilantro. Cilantro has a lot of good benefits to it. But if you have a cheese grater, a regular cheese grater, and you take it through the smallest hole setting here, you can actually pull this through. And my hands are a little slippery. But you can actually pull this through and actually begin to get the leaves extracted from your cilantro. So as you can see there, it has deleted and the cilantro is pulled, so you don't have to sit there and try to pull it apart. And sometimes it's really hard to get it off of the stem if you're just trying to pull it, so.
You just gave us all a bunch of time back. That's awesome.
Yes. And then, you know, again, because it's your world, they're all gonna look different. They may not look glamorous. They may not, you know, look appealing at first, but it's about the taste. So I typically take and I just fold them over. And then if I have a set of toothpicks, I will stick a toothpick through and then just assemble more. Because again, no one in my family is just gonna eat one. So you know, we typically just, you know, so to be able to maximize your time and get them assembled, you can do it, or you can allow them to build their own right there with all of the bowls and things right in front of you, making it a very interactive dinner opportunity or meal opportunity, because it really can be any day, any time of the day that you can eat one of these. So that is the short and simple way of utilizing canned chicken.
That's amazing. And I really like the message about eating with your family and allowing kids to make their own, because we know if they make something, they're more likely to eat it and try it if they've had their hands in there. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so we can we share the there we go. PowerPoint again. And so the next slide, please. There we go. So this is a slide that I came up with for actually another presentation, and I just thought it kind of fit in well here. I know we're talking about maximizing our food dollars and eating healthy, but I like to just remind people that eating healthy is kind of just one part of a continuum or a circle of good health. So if we eat healthy, it becomes easier for us to, when we have those nutrients in our bodies, to exercise. When we're exercising and eating healthy, sleep becomes easier. The more sleep we have, the more we're likely to want to eat well and exercise, the less stress we're going to have. And then if we keep doing all of these things around and around, we're going to reduce inflammation in the body. And ultimately, inflammation is what causes chronic disease as we age. So just keeping in mind that it doesn't have to be perfect every second of every day. We may not be able to eat, you know, the perfect meal every day or exercise 7 days a week. But if we're just making small steps in each of these areas, we are ultimately going to be making strides towards better health and reducing inflammation and all of those things. So just wanted to share that with you. And if we can go on to the next slide, please. Amanda is going to share some ways to recreate some restaurant meals at home, I believe.
Sorry. So one of the ways that, you know, I, you know, would imagine, and Lynn has here on the slide, a very good opportunity for us to, and I'm not sure if my screen, can you see me okay?
Let's see.
I can see you. Yes, that's fine. You're not spotlighted, but are you okay with that? We can see you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure my camera, I didn't see my camera, sorry. Wanted to make sure it was on. But yes, so with the chicken nuggets that you see here, you can actually take the canned chicken and process your own homemade chicken nuggets. And one of the ways, you know, you would do the exact same process that we talked about, you know, rinsing it, seasoning it. But one of the cool things is that you can, you know, begin to blend this up and then bread it, go through the breading process and storing it in your freezer for your children or yourself to, you know, make at home. So these are options that you have, and they would be easy there on hand for them to pop in the air fryer, you know, safely on their own and be able to, you know, have an easy homemade chicken nugget option.
That's great. I know some other things that I see here, like the fries and things like that. I feel like they could be swapped out for some homemade sweet potato fries. I do know Snap Ed has a recipe for those. And even swapping out, say, the rolls for a whole grain roll or something whole wheat would be a way to make it a little bit healthier. And of course, if we make the hamburgers at home, we can control if we're using 90% lean or turkey versus beef. And then we can, you know, make those little swap outs too to make it healthier, and just every little bit counts. Great. And so I think everyone has probably seen My Plate by now. And I know if you were here last week, Katie showed the My Plate. And you know, the idea is this is not a diet. It's more of a guide just to show people what your plate can look like to be balanced every day. And the thing that I really like to focus on is half that plate being fruits and vegetables, because that's where all of those nutrients and phytonutrients and plant nutrients and the things that we think of as antioxidants, you may have heard of those, that help our bodies resist aging and help keep us healthy and strong. All of those and the vitamins and minerals are really coming from the fruits and vegetables for the most part, and our whole grains. If we are eating refined grains, we are certainly not getting many of those vitamins, because that's in the part of the grain they remove before they process it into like nice soft white bread. So not saying you can't have those, but if we are going to eat you know, refined grains, to try to keep that to 50% or less of our grains, and to look for things that are more whole, lean proteins, and just keeping it as a healthy, you know, keeping this in mind when you're kind of setting up your healthy plate every day. Oh, how do we get to that slide? I don't know. I don't know how that slide is in here. I might have just been extra from before. So I think we can pass that. Apologies. We do have some resources that we are going to share with you today. And so we, at the University of Maryland, we have lots of fact sheets and resources if you go on to the University of Maryland Extension's webpage. And this is just one of them. And I put the QR code there if you're interested in reading the entire fact sheet. But this is a fact sheet that's how you can determine whether or not your health insurance plan covers nutritional counseling. And I do know later on in the webinar series, I don't have the date right in front of me, but I know that in the next several weeks, you will also see some of my colleagues from the University of Maryland Extension, Jesse and Carrie, and they will be chatting with you about just health insurance basics in general. So that's if you want to know more about how to use your health insurance and get the most out of that, stay tuned for that as well. All right, so this one, do you want to talk about this one, Amanda?
Yeah, so
Okay.
211 is a resource that you can dial on your phone, either your home phone or your mobile phone. You're able to tell them what your need is, and they would then help assist you to get access to them. As you can see, there's the various categories there, from the aging to disability, you know, all the way to utility assistance. So, you know, everything possible that you could need help with. Also helping, especially to find local food pantries that can, help support you, in between times. So, and gaining access to those food pantry locations, they would definitely be able to assist with as well.
Great. This page here is the Maryland SNAP Ed recipe database. So, and I should have put a QR code in here, but I neglected to do that for this one as well. But if you type in Maryland SNAP Ed recipes, this will come up. And this is a great site because they have a ton of recipes on here. And what I really, really like about the recipes, they aren't all as gourmet as they, some recipes can get. So if you're looking for some fancy celebratory meal recipe, this might not be the site you want to go to. But if you're looking for something for quick recipes that are easy to follow, that have ingredients most of us have in our cabinets, and that are most importantly healthy, then this is just a really great place to go and just kind of look through their site and see what they have available on here. They usually have some featured every month that this changes, and then you can just go into the bar at the bottom. And if you have a whole bunch of, say, collard greens or eggplant from the farmer's market or from even the food distribution center, and you're thinking, I don't know what to do with eggplant, I've never cooked this before, you can put that in the ingredients box and it'll give you a list of all the SNAP Ed database eggplant recipes, which I think is just really a helpful tool.
Yeah, so and just the flip side of that, you may, once you have prepared or you plan to prepare a meal, you can plug into stilltasty.com the food item that you are preparing to make. Or if it's just the ingredients, to say, do I keep it or toss it if it's been in the refrigerator, for 4 days and it's looking a little, funny. You can see there's a tab that says, keep it or toss it. So you can go in and actually go through, assess it according to your grocery list, and really prepare your family for success, to reduce waste, and, in your food options at home. And then also, just if you are looking to meal plan and you want to, make something last longer than, 3 or 4 days, this would be a really good resource to, work on your meal planning goals, and to see what are the things that you need in preparation for that.
That's great.
Okay, is this our poll? I think next slide, I think tells us our poll. Yep, okay, great. So let me go ahead and launch our poll. We're gonna do the poll and then we'll do the question and answers. So let me go ahead and launch this. So you should be able to see 2 questions again. After the session, how likely are you to prepare healthy meals at home? Very likely, somewhat likely, not likely. And do you feel this session is giving you more resources and support to prepare healthy meals? Okay. We'll give it one more minute or a couple seconds.
I can't actually see the question, I don't think. I just see a gray box.
Oh, no.
That's what I saw before.
It worked the first one.
I see 6 out of 10 people participated. So I'll go ahead and end this poll. I'm not sure why it didn't show. I apologize. Okay, so 4 out of 6 people said they're very likely to prepare healthy meals at home. 2 said somewhat likely, and everyone does feel that this session has provided more resources and support. So thank you for those, and for answering those questions for us. And we'll go ahead and continue with the question and answer session. So if you guys have questions, please either raise your hand, call out, put it in the chat. We're open for questions.
Anyone?
I just want to say thank you. There are a lot of tips that Amanda and Lynn provide, so that was very helpful.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Thanks, Bianca.
Okay, I did want to just share, I looked it up during, before too, that, the peanut butter to butter ratio, it said you can do a 1-to-1.
Thanks for that, Lynn.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the raffle prizes. So, I think you would have to stop sharing potentially, okay, and then I need to start sharing. And there it is. So I'm gonna share that screen. So I have, can you guys see it? The wheel?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you can just see, do I have everyone? Am I missing anyone? I have Evelyn, Kelly, Bianca, Lisa, Heather, Valerie, and Arlene. Am I missing anyone? Okay, so the first prize is going to be the oh, where did I wrote it down somewhere. The first prize. All right, we'll just do the cutting boards first. I don't know where I put it, but we'll do the cutting boards, then we'll do the salad spinner, and then we'll do the scholarship for the okay, so this is for the cutting boards that will ship to you directly from Amazon. So we will need you to reach out to us with a good mailing address. So let me go ahead and spin to win. Evelyn, you won the cutting board. So please reach out to us with your address, and congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so this is going to be for the salad spinner, and it's actually the exact same one that Amanda was using in her demo. So I thought that was funny. Okay, let's spin for the salad spinner. Lisa, you are the winner. So please reach out to us with a good mailing address so we can ship that to you. And congrats. Okay, so we're going to move on to the canning class or workshop gift certificate. So let's go ahead and spin for that. And that's Kelly. So Kelly, if you could reach out to us again for that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for a minute here. And then Erica, if you could just put that PowerPoint back up, because I think we have a final slide that we just want to share.
Oh, yeah.
One more slide. There we go. So again, we have some contact information for Lynn and Amanda. And I just want to say thank you so much to Lynn and Amanda for taking the time to meet with us and share your knowledge and your tips and tricks and resources. We do appreciate you very, very much. So, and thank you all for joining. We hope you consider joining us next week for our next session. And that is going to be on, oh my goodness, Kitchen I Spy with Shauna. And once I get more details about her presentation, I'll send a little bit more information about that as well. So thank you again to everyone for participating. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.